Hello and welcome to the first of these videos we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to carry on from where we finished off in class. Okay, so we've been looking at algebra and how you can combine them together, how you can add and take away letters and numbers. And the next thing we want to be looking at is multiplying algebra. Okay, so that means timesing them by each other. But first we'll start with a little recap of what we've already done, which was these sort of things here. So these are some things we need to know before we can go on to multiplying. So first, if I've got an A, add an A, well that means I've got 2A. I've got two lots of A. If I have an A plus a B, remember, that still just stays as A plus B. Because we can't combine these. We can only add or take away letters if they're the same letter. Okay, the A's and B's are different, so we can't combine them. Next, I've got 3 plus A plus A. And just like I can't add different letters together, I can't add numbers and letters. Okay, so 3 is the only number in this one. So that stays by itself. But now, I've got 1A, add another A, which is just like this bit up here, and that's going to give me 2A. Okay. And same when we're taking away. Here, I've got 2A, take away B. Well, let's deal with the A's first, because they're the same. So I've got two lots of A, take away an A. Well, that will give me 1A. And we don't bother to write the 1 in front, because we don't need it. And then I've still got my take away B. And I can't do anything more with those because they're different letters. Okay. Now, these are important rules we need to know and hopefully we can remember. So I'm just going to put those examples in a little box up there. And what we'll be focusing on is multiplying algebra. So that should be your title. Now, when we're multiplying them, when we're timesing them together, the rules are a little bit different as to adding or taking away and how we can combine things. Okay? The first thing we need to know is how we write out what a multiplied algebra term looks like. And we're going to again look at this example here of A plus A equals 2A. Okay? So if I've got an A plus an A, it means I've got two lots of A, which is 2 times A. Okay? So this lets us say that if we're doing calculations like this, 2 times A, I can just write that as 2A. Okay? 3 times what? 3 times F. I can just write that as 3F. 5 times H. I can write that as 5H. What we do in algebra when we're multiplying things is we just get rid of a times sign. Basically because we're lazy and we want to save a bit of time. Instead of saying 2 times A, I just say 2A. Instead of saying 3 times F, I just say 3F. Okay? So when you see something like this in algebra, when you see a number and then a letter next to each other, that means that number times by that letter. Okay? So 2A means 2 times A. 3F means 3 times F. Okay? It's a very basic rule at the heart of multiplying algebra. Okay? But it does let us do a few more complicated examples of this. So let's have a look at what if I had 2 times 2A instead. Okay? So this already here means 2 times A. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 times 2, which is 4. And I've still got my A, so it's 4A. Okay? Because another way of writing this out would be my 2 there times by 2A, which is 2 times A. And if I've got 2 times 2 times A, that's 4A. And we work it out like that. So if you have a number times a term that's got a number and a letter, you just do the number times that number. Okay? So what if we had 3 times 3B? Okay, I'll give you a little second to have a think to yourselves what that might be. Okay, so 3 times 3B, well that's going to be 9b, because I've done 3 times 3 is 9, and I've still got that b. Okay, if I did 5 times 2c, again, I'll give you a little second to think of that. Okay, and that's going to be 5 times 2, which is 10, and I've still got this c. Okay, so that's how it works combining terms when we're multiplying them in algebra. Now, we're not going to do very much more than this in this video, okay? This is quite an important skill, and I want to make sure we've got that learnt and we know how to do that. We will build on this and add a few little more rules to it afterwards. So what I'm going to do for the last bit of this video is I'm going to write down some questions here, okay? Then I'd like you to pause the video and try them, and then I'll go through them after and write the answers so you can check them, okay? So we'll look at some questions. I'm going to just move my piece of paper over, okay? And I have question 1 will be 3 times m. Question 2 will be 4 times 2d. Question 3 is going to be 10 times a. Question 4 is going to be 3 times 7h. And question 5, we're going to do a trickier one here because algebra will also include everything we've learnt about negative numbers. We're going to have negative 2 times b. Okay, now if you pause the video here, give yourself a little bit of time to answer those, then when you've had a go, come back, hit play again, and I'll go through the answers to them. Okay? Right, answers then. 3 times m, that just means we get rid of the times sign, we put them next to each other. That is 3m is our answer there. 4 times 2d, well I do the 4 times the 2, which is 8, and I still have that d, so it's 8 lots of d. Okay, 10 times a nice simple one, we just get rid of the times sign, so that will be 10a. Next we've got 3 times 7h, I'll do 3 times 7 is 21, and I still have that h. Okay, and then now, slightly trickier, but hopefully we can remember what we learned about negative numbers. Okay, I've got negative 2 times b. Okay, if I've got a negative times a positive, that means my answer is going to be negative. Okay, remember if the signs are different, the answer is negative. We've got a negative sign and a positive sign, so I get a negative answer. Okay, and then it's just like the others. I'll just do the number, then the letter. So that gives me negative 2b. Okay, that's where we're going to finish for this video. Like I said, in the next one, we'll make it a little bit more complicated. So watch this as many times as you want. Pause it where you want to take down notes. I would like you to copy down these little examples and then have tried those. And then I'll put some work up as well on the classroom for you to do. Okay, so thank you and goodbye.